Good evening, everybody. This is your favorite aspiring revolutionary here, a wandering author, reminding you that we are all the authors of our own lives. As always, my message remains the same: spend less, live more, earn your freedom with frugality. Today we'll pick up where we left off yesterday, about halfway through the fifth chapter of the fifth book of Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, the one on reciprocity as a form of justice, which, remember, this is how the Pythagoreans viewed justice. Ultimately, it's the eye for an eye type of thinking. Fortunately, so far, I have been successful whenever I've been knocking on the doors, but part of me believes that basically the company has me knocking in neighborhoods where the houses are full of paid actors. But I could also be paranoid because I am always suspicious of authority, just in general, and I highly recommend that you are too. Question authority. Think for yourself. Anyways, so remember, yesterday we got through up to, hence all commodities exchanged must be able to be compared in some way. This is where, Aristotle was talking to us about how, the shoemaker and the builder, like the house builder needs shoes, the shoemaker needs a house. How do we figure out a way to make this all work? And it's this green term right here, money. It is to meet this requirement that men have introduced money. Book 5, Chapter 5, Section 10. And he goes on further to say, money constitutes, in a manner, a middle term, for it is a measure of all things, and so of their inferior or superior value. That is to say, how many shoes are equivalent to a house, or to a given quantity of food. Hashtag monetary or modern monetary theory. And then Aristotle drops Econ 101 right in the middle of his argument, and he elucidates the major principles of supply and demand before the efficient market hypothesis was ever even a thought. And he says, it is therefore necessary that all commodities be measured by some one standard, as was said before. And this one standard is in reality demand, which is what holds everything together. If men cease to have wants, or if their wants alter, exchange will go on no longer, or it will be on different lines. So what he's saying basically is it's a very familiar concept for most economists, which is that demand is what drives prices. And that is a huge portion of it. It's definitely more complicated than just that, but Aristotle was definitely on to the right line of thoughts back then. And it's interesting to see how fully fleshed out their concept of money was already by the 4th or 5th century BCE, when Aristotle was alive. And then he also goes here and talks about where the name for money comes from. So he says, but demand has come to be conventionally represented by money. This is why money is called nomisma, which is the Greek term for money, because it does not exist by nature, but by custom, or in Greek, nomos, and can be altered and rendered useless at will. So money is only acceptable as a medium of exchange if both parties agree to utilize it, which is to say that money is only worth what everybody agrees that it's worth. And he goes on later in the chapter, which we'll get to it tomorrow, actually, we get to it today. So he goes, demand, which by serving as a single standard holds an association together, an association meaning like a business, is shown by the fact that when there is no demand for mutual service on the part of both or at least one of the parties, no exchange takes place. Hashtag totally Adam Smith. And all he's saying is, if both, so in the door knocking world, I may want them to set an appointment, but if they don't want to set an appointment, it's not happening. The demand has to be there on both sides for the exchange to take place. And that's literally what Aristotle's getting at here. So obviously money serves as a tool for us to compare the relative value of commodities. But Aristotle breaks this philosophical concept down so thoroughly you'll wonder if you've ever seen money before. Now, money serves us as a guarantee of exchange in the future. Supposing we need nothing at the moment, it ensures that exchange shall be possible when a need arises. Money, if it is true, is liable to the same fluctuation of demand as other commodities, for its purchasing power varies at different times. Hashtag Econ 101. And we'll end here. Hence, the proper thing is for all commodities to have their prices fixed. And this isn't on the board, but yeah, Aristotle believed in price fixing. This will ensure that exchange and consequently association shall always be possible. And here, money then serves as a measure which makes things commensurable and so reduces them to equality. And commensurable, what that means is we can set a dollar value for shoes and a dollar value for a house. You know, let's say $70 for a nice pair of shoes, $200,000 for a decent house. And these money allows us to say, okay, so how many shoes is really actually worth it to a house? And we could just divide $70 into $200,000, and I guess what is that? 3,000 pairs of shoes or something like that. It's equal to one house. I'm not sure. I'm not a calculator. Tomorrow we will finish this section, and I will say that at the end of this next section, Aristotle goes through some lengthy math to prove that 5 beds is equal to 1 house. So we know that beds were pretty expensive back in the day, or houses were relatively cheaper. Anyways, I think I'm doing pretty decent at work. I've got to continue writing too. I've been going to the gym a lot. 4 years of living like a monk. This is a wandering author here to remind you that we are all the authors of our own lives. As always, my message remains the same. Spend less, live more, earn your freedom with frugality. What are you guys doing in order to inspire, uplift, and empower your local community tonight? Because this world isn't changing unless we all do our part, and you can count on me to do mine daily. Until next time, love y'all.